Hey everyone, welcome to the Natural News. My name is Erin, your host today. Super excited to be on with you all. I have some fun topics to go over. In episode 2, we're going to talk about some of the biggest health and wellness, fitness topics, and social media overall. Oh, and my cat decided to join us, jump down. All right, anyway, so we have a few health and wellness topics on deck today. There's a lot going on. There is a new health and wellness topic that I feel pops up every single day, and somebody is obsessed. Maybe it's your neighbor, it's your friend, and you are just not sure what is true, what you should be paying attention to. So, we're going to talk about a few of them today. Always, this is for education and for conversation. I would love to hear your thoughts. This is not personal medical advice. So, if you have any questions on if you should take something, a supplement, a daily habit, definitely ask your doctor and they can help you out as well. So, let's get into it. The first thing that I want to talk about is blood sugar balancing. I feel like this is a huge kind of a buzzword topic here. A lot of us think of blood sugar and we think of those who are struggling with diabetes or something like that, but we don't think about our day to day blood sugar. And I think people are kind of finally realizing why they're feeling energy crashes, cravings, mood swings, and that sudden starving feeling. And it might not be more of a willpower issue. There's a lot of conversation about blood sugar and how stable your energy feels throughout the day. So, when people are saying they're trying to balance their blood sugar, that usually means they're eating in a way that helps them feel more steady. They're avoiding those huge energy crashes. They're not feeling that ravenous, I need a meal right now feeling, or riding that sugar, caffeine, snack, crash, repeat high that I know a lot of us have felt on a day to day. Now, I do think when it comes to social media, we can kind of overdo this topic a little bit. Not every single person needs to be totally obsessed with tracking those glucose spikes. But what I would focus on here and what I like to do is first off, getting enough protein in a day. If you can get this through Whole Foods, that's great. Supplements are there to support you as well. So I'm using Momentous right now. That can be found on the natural.com. That is linked in the comments. So you can check that out. If you have any questions on picking the right one, let me know and I can help you out. The other thing I want to focus on is eating healthy fats, avocados, coconut oil, olive oil. Those are some great ones. Fatty fish are another great one you could look at. You can also get this in supplement form, focusing on your omega 3s. We have a lot of these on thenatural.com as well. So let me know if you have any questions on finding the right one for you. Also, making sure you're getting enough fiber in your meals and just starting to build very whole, balanced meals and not just focusing on carbs by themselves. I know that one can be a little tricky. We all love to have our carbs in a day. So, if you're going to have breakfast, maybe you're focused on some pancakes or toast, juice, a pastry, that's probably not going to make you feel better later. I'm not saying you can't have those things, just add in some bulk, maybe with some protein, some meat. Maybe just your protein powder would be a great addition there. Doesn't mean that all carbs are bad, just focusing on a nice and balanced meal. I do have a resource link for you where I was reading a little bit about this. I will send that in the chat so you can take a look at that here. Perfect. That one has been sent over. You can find that in our chat. Speaking of protein, the second thing that I do want to talk about is our protein obsession. Is it helpful or are we a little overhyped here? I think protein is absolutely necessary for your diet, but you are seeing it everywhere. Protein snacks, protein coffee, protein chips, protein bars, protein desserts, protein everything. And now I do think it's great. And I think this trend is happening for a reason. A lot of people are under eating their protein, especially when it comes to your breakfast. You're starting your day, like I was talking about before, maybe with a pancake or waffle, toast, and not getting that well rounded meal in. So you might notice that you're staying hungry, you're snacking more, and you just don't feel satisfied. And it becomes a lot harder to support muscle, recover, and just overall your body composition can be affected by not eating enough protein. So I'm not saying that it's not important here. I really do want to focus on it and making sure you are getting protein in your meals. But I do think it can get a little excessive. Now, I don't think every food needs to be turned into a protein food. Um, there's already a lot of whole food proteins in there. I think what I would try to avoid here is your processed protein snacks. A lot of these can be made at home, and I'm not saying to boycott that. It's just the processed ones that you're finding at home. If you turn, or at the grocery store, if you turn the ingredient label over and read what is in there, usually they're not our best choices. I like to add and make protein pancakes by adding a scoop of my own clean protein in there. Same thing you could do with waffles, your yogurt, if you want to kind of bulk that up. I love a scoop of like a flavored protein. I recently got a banana one, and that one has been great for my yogurt. But just taking a look at a lot of those things that already have protein in them and taking a look at the ingredients. So for me, this trend, it's great. I love making sure I'm focusing on protein, especially in the morning, but just focusing on where it's helpful and getting it in the best form. Starting with whole foods is going to be the most important and the best thing you can do. And then adding in to ice cream, yogurt, maybe your breakfast, your treats, that can be super helpful as well, just avoiding those processed protein foods. So, I do have another resource link for you as well when it comes to protein. I will add that to our comments so you can take a look. That is in there. And then we'll jump right to our next topic, which is one of my personal favorites. Fitness is a big part of my day to day life. I personally love to do, and I teach Pilates and mat strength workouts. So, fitness is something near and dear to my heart. And the next trend I want to talk about is walking pads and weighted vests and just kind of the return to simple fitness. And why I really love this trend is I think we have all seen online, people are getting their 2 hour workouts in, they're hitting the gym super hard. Now, I do agree that it's very important to strength train, and I like to add that into my routine. But there's a lot that we can do just from our home or just with our own body that a lot of people are missing because they think if they're not hitting the gym and getting that extremely intense workout in, then there's no reason to do it at all. So, with those harder workouts, sweatier workouts, more intense, I think we can drop back. We can make it a little more simple. And I really like the idea of a walking pad to make it a little more accessible in your home, or especially if you live in a colder or rainier climate. Just getting on a walking pad for even 10, 20 minutes a day to get some steps in, you're moving your body. And I think that's extremely important. Or getting outside and going for a walk. That option is there too. And just using what you have on your person to get out and get some movement in. Weighted vests have also been seeing their light or their shine in the spotlight. I actually don't have one. I would love to know if you do, if you use one, and how it makes you feel. I do think it's another great way to just add a little more weight and a little more intensity to your day to day steps. So, weighted vest, maybe going out for a walk. I do have some bangles that I'll either wear around my wrist or my ankles. And I'll wear those even if I'm just doing chores around the house. If I go for a daily walk, a little bit more weight onto my wrist. Maybe I'll do some arm workouts as I'm walking. But I think we can really support ourselves with a lot of the things you have at home or finding a walking pad online. I know there's a ton on Amazon. That's where I got mine. And I think this is a very healthy direction for a lot of people because it really supports your stress and your mood, especially if you're getting outside. The sunlight can also be extremely important. Your blood sugar is going to help stay regulated here. It's also very good for your cardiovascular health, your energy, and just staying consistent. I think it's really hard to get in the gym 7 days, 6 days a week. So on those days where I don't want to necessarily take a class or go visit the gym, just going out for a walk, grabbing my walking pad, or going outside and taking a walk can be extremely helpful. And then, like I said, with the weighted vest, they're really interesting because it can make a very basic habit a little bit more challenging. Same thing with the bangles, either around your wrists or around your ankles. That's a great one. I just encourage everybody to get out and move as much as possible. A lot of us sit throughout the day. I am somebody who sits at home. and have a remote job. So getting out can be really important. I have a resource here. I will share that with all of you of just the benefits of walking and getting out, finding some simple movement. Another thing also near and dear to my heart that is blowing up is minerals and getting your magnesium in. Magnesium, electrolytes, trace minerals, mineral drop, salt in your water. Everybody is talking about minerals, especially if you are in this health and wellness space. And there's a reason for that. A lot of people are stressed, they're tired, they're dehydrated, they're undernourished, and they're relying on a lot of caffeine for support. I know that's me. Sometimes I do need some caffeine in the morning every once in a while, especially if it was a night of not great sleep. And sometimes your body is not necessarily asking for more of that stimulation, it's really asking for more support. So, minerals matter because they are involved in so many of our day to day body functions: hydration, muscle function, recovery, nerve signaling, your stress response. And that is why magnesium gets talked about so much. If you are looking for supplemental magnesium, I do think it's important. I take it every day before I go to sleep. We have a few options on thenatural.com. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments and I can help you find the right one. Where I do think this trend can be a little overhyped is when we're pairing it with unhealthy habits. So, a lot of your mineral electrolyte powders out there just don't have clean ingredients. So, that is where I recommend you do put a little salt in your water to get those minerals in. Finding a clean source of your electrolytes. Coconut water is a great one that can be paired with a little bit of sugar, but since it's all natural, I don't really mind that as much as you going to the store and grabbing a Gatorade or an electrolyte drink that is filled with artificial dyes and sugars or artificial sugars, sweeteners, and all that stuff. So take a pay attention to those mineral powders and what is actually in them, and that will be a great start. And then with those habits, it's not going to be solving all of your problems. So you're going to want to make sure you're eating enough. You still need to make sure you're drinking enough water, getting enough sleep, and then just controlling overall stress. I know that one is really hard. If you have any tips, tricks on how you kind of help with this habit, making sure you're hydrated and getting enough sleep, you can drop them down in the comments. I know that this is not going to be a fancy miracle product for everyone, but if you do find that getting hydration in, adding an electrolyte packet or that sprinkle of salt in your water can help. And I do have a resource on this one as well. So I'll drop that in the comments. Perfect. And we have one more the buzziest even wellness food hack online everyone is talking about. I actually was walking through Whole Foods just the other day and I saw a big jar of sea moss. Now, is it a superfood or is it really just a big hype? I know the bottle I saw was like $35. So I'm hoping if people are taking that, that it is something that is actually beneficial for them. I'd love to hear if you are taking it because sea moss is one of those ingredients that got really popular really fast. You can find it in gel, gummies, powders, smoothies, your wellness shots. People are talking about it, and a lot of people don't actually know what it is. So, sea moss is a type of red algae, and people are drawn to it because it contains a ton of nutrients like iodine, iron, calcium, zinc, some fiber, and really small amounts of protein. But it is a very all natural, nutrient dense, and kind of one of these old school remedies that kind of got rediscovered. Does this make it automatically a miracle food? No, not necessarily. I do think it's not going to solve all your problems, but there are a lot of people in the health and wellness space, and you might see all the TikToks on everybody's taking their scoop of sea moss in the morning. I really do think it can help provide some minerals and be a great part of your wellness routine, but it's not going to make up for a solid diet, not getting enough protein, enough sleep, and hydration. So, with anything, the source matters, the amount matters, and the best quality you can find is the better. I don't actually have a recommendation when it comes to CMOS. I would have to look up our resources on that one. I do have a resource to our benefits or a link to what some of the benefits are. So I'll share that for you here. But I would need to do some research. I'm very interested if that is something that you take. And if you feel like it has helped your wellness routine, a lot of people say that can help digestion, their skin health. So I'd be very interested to hear what your thoughts are on it. So you can drop those in the comments as well. And if it's something you want to try, certainly stay on all your other good health habits as well, making sure a solid diet and sleep is number one. All right. Those were the 5 topics that I had for you today. Thank you so much joining me for the natural news. Just to sum up today's episode, I'd like to say a lot of wellness trends are blowing up right now, are really rooted in something real. People really want steady energy, avoiding those crashes, a better metabolism, simple fitness, better hydration, and really just feeling less burnout. And I think that's a great thing. I think a lot of people are on their right way to that, making sure we're getting our daily movement in. Balanced meals is going to be number one. But I would love to hear any health and wellness tips that you have added into your arsenal right now. If there's anything you'd like to hear about on our next episode, I would definitely love to hear about that as well. But that is all I have for you today. If you have any questions, you can also join the Natural Wellness Collective. That is our group where I am in each and every day. We have recipe guides for you. I'm there to answer any question. I will get you that link one more time. It is the pinned link to join, and I will share that in the chat, but you can check out that pinned link as well. Thank you so much. If you guys have any questions, let me know. Have a good day.